Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta jana kalyane niratam karunamayam namami chinmayam devam sadgurum brahma vidvaram mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam. So, today we continue with the topic of self-love, but with a different twist. Yesterday we saw verse number 3. Let's review that, and then we will go to the new twist of self-love. So we'll chant together verse 3 of chapter 16. Teja dhriti shaucham adroho nati manita bhavanti sampadam devim Abhijatasya Bharata. So the theme, the underlying theme for the third verse is confidence. How to manifest self-love is through confidence. When someone, determination. The 3 is determination. When someone has love towards themselves, tejaha, they shine, they become brilliant, they become magnetic in a way that people just want to be with them. That people would fly so many miles just to sit at their feet, even if they don't talk, even if they don't do anything, just to be there. That the whole thing is that they emit that aura, that vibration. And we can see this happen in our saints and sages. They have that brilliance, that tejaha. And how did they get that tejaha? Tapaha. You remember we talked about tapas? Tapas is that which makes us burn. It's that when we take up discomfort to become better. They've gone through a lot of tapas, and that's why tejaha. Kshama. What is forgiveness with self-love? We talked about this in terms of atoning for our mistakes. If we make a mistake, it's okay. Accept it. Many people make mistakes, but we have to make up for it right there and then. If we don't, we will carry that regret and that guilt with us. And then it becomes so difficult to deal with. It becomes like a heavy baggage. And the second way to be forgiving of oneself is, we said, alert living. It's impossible on this path not to fall, especially for us seekers who are just starting out on the path. It's impossible not to fall. But if we catch ourselves quick enough, then it's easy to be forgiving instead of letting ourselves fall so deeply that it's hard to come back up. Dhriti, we saw that fortitude to go all the way to the end, to finish strong, all the way, no matter what obstacles come. Keep going, and don't leave in the middle. It's easy to leave it. It's easy to let things go when things get hard. But if there is something there that's really important for your growth, then go till the end, even if it's very, very hard. And that's a manifestation of self-love, because you're pushing yourself to what you think will raise you to new heights. Shaucham, we saw purity of action in the beginning, intention, then implementation and integration. Adroha, not to hate or dislike ourselves or look down upon ourselves because other people may doubt us or may make us feel insecure or may criticize us. Not to look down upon ourselves. Na atimanita, but not also to have such a high value about ourselves, because after all, who is the doer? Bhagavan is the doer. We are just the instruments. So through this, we learned determination to keep going steadily in the path. If we make mistakes, bounce back quick, atone for them, forgive ourselves for them, and in and every action, see if we can bring purity to it. Now we've enumerated all the qualities that can help us love ourselves. Now in this chapter, it focuses on qualities that will make us not love ourselves. So we are going to see that twist today of those qualities which will make us not love ourselves, of those the qualities which are I don't want to use the term hate, but maybe self-dislike, things that will make us dislike ourselves. And why is it important to know this? Because unless we juxtapose side by side and we see clearly, we won't know what love truly is. So today, we start from verse number 4. And for verse number 4, the caption is change. Because these are the things that if we have, then we think and we can think about changing them. Yesterday, one of the uncles and I were joking, and we said, in the first 3 verses, we have probably very few, but in verse number 4, check, I have this, I have this vice, I have this vice, I have this vice. So this verse number 4 is things that will make us not like ourselves so much, but it will bring it to our awareness so that we can work on it. Dambho darpo bhimanascha Krodav parushyameva cha Ajnanam chabhijatasya Partha sampadamasurim Dambho darpo bhimanascha Krodav parushyameva cha Ajnanam chabhijatasya Partha sampadamasurim. So Lord Krishna says, O Partha, these qualities belong to one who is asuri, who has that asuric tendency. What are these qualities? Dambha. Dambha means self-pretense. When we pretend to be something we are not. This is called dambha. Why do we pretend to be something that we're not? Because we want to fit in. We want to fit in with other people. We want to gain friends. We want people to like us. We want people to respect us, to look up to us. So we pretend to be something that we're not. Maybe we pretend to be something better than what we are. Maybe we pretend to like something we really don't like. Maybe we pretend to want to do something wrong just to fit in with a certain crowd, but really it's against our wishes and we don't want to do it and we're not into it. We don't want. Or maybe sometimes it could be even as simple as someone says a joke and we have no idea what the joke's about, but we're laughing and we're laughing, but we didn't really get the joke. We don't know what it is, because we don't want to feel like fools. We don't want to feel like, oh, I didn't get it, right? So this sense of damba is when we start to pretend in life. Or sometimes we're out, we're having such a good time, but instead of focusing on the good time we're having, we start taking pictures and posting it on Facebook because, we want everyone to know, hey, I'm having such a good time with my friends. But if we were really having a good time, do we or would we really feel the need to post it? To show that we are having a good time. Sometimes I feel like Facebook is fake book, because it's all of these things that we want to show people we are, but really inside it's something different. This is why we pretend to feel that we want to fit in, to feel good, to gain love, to gain respect. But what happens when we pretend? First of all, one thing is it's just too damn hard to pretend. It's just too hard. Like, how much can you put up a front for? It's so uncomfortable, It's like when, you dress up and you're pretending that you look very, very nice and very good, but at the end of the day, like a woman just wants to take her high heel shoes out. She just wants to take it off, and a man just wants to take his tie out, wring his neck. It's like, you just get tired of pretending. It's so much effort. It's so much easier just to be who you and I are. And it's okay. What happens when we pretend? What happens when we pretend? When Hanumanji went to see Sri Ramachandraji and he disguised himself as a Brahmin, what happened? Ramachandraji said, "Who are you?" And he conversed with Hanumanji, but he was kind of questioning, who is this person? But when Hanumanji revealed himself, then he got a super hug from Ramchandraji, right? You see that photo often of Bhakta Hanuman and Bhagavan Rama. Bhagavan embraces him because he comes without pretense. What happened to Arjuna? The whole of chapter 1, he was kind of insecure. He kind of pretended to know what was going on. And a sign of insecurity is when somebody talks and talks and talks. And he said, war is incorrect because how can I kill my relatives? How can I harm them? And there will be a mixture of all of these things. And then, I'd rather go and become a beggar than to fight this war and all of these things. And I won't be able to face Drona and Bhishma. And on and on and on and on he went in chapter 1. And he just, he was kind of in a way pretending that he knew. He knew he shouldn't fight the war. I know that I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it. But what happens in chapter 2? He breaks down. He breaks down. His lips are parched. He's shaking. He's trembling. And he says, "Lord Krishna, really, I don't know what to do. I think I know. I think maybe, but truly I'm confused. I'm broken inside. I don't know." And he surrenders to Lord Krishna. And only when he surrenders to Lord Krishna, then what happens? Lord Krishna gives him the Bhagavad Gita. Imagine if Arjuna didn't surrender. If he didn't bow down to Lord Krishna, if he didn't admit that I'm weak, I'm trembling, I don't know what to do, and I need help, I'm going to stop pretending to know that I know what I'm doing, because I really don't know what I'm doing. And only when he said, I don't know, and you tell me what is Shreyas. And Lord Krishna says, okay, now I'll tell you. And Lord Krishna then continues to speak and gives him the highest knowledge in the second chapter. So you see, when we pretend to know everything, when we pretend to be like the coolest person ever, when we pretend that we got it, when we really don't, we're missing out. We're missing out. Somebody can help us. Somebody can guide us to really address what we're facing. Then only we'll really grow. So self-pretense does this. And the thing with self-pretense is that our true colors will come out anyway. They will come out anyway because pretending doesn't last long. How long can you and I pretend? It's like this Louis Vuitton fake bag, right? Or this fake Armani bag, right? How long is that gonna last? It doesn't last so long because it's fake. So when we're fake, we just won't last that long. Our true colors, they will come out. So let it just come out. Sometimes we also pretend to love our jobs or to love being in our relationships, to love all of these things when really we don't. And when we pretend to love our jobs and we don't, we're doing more harm to everybody because when our heart's not in it. If your heart's not in it, then if you're pretending to love it, you're harming everybody else because you're not giving your 100% there. If we're pretending to be happy in the relationships that we're in, but we're really not, that's very tough. You put up a front, yes, everything's okay, but really, oh my gosh, it's not okay, It's harming the other person too because maybe they're putting so much effort, but I'm just pretending. So pretense, dambha, it makes us lose out in life. Self-love is being original. This is who I am. And this is real. And if I need help, fine. If I don't like something, it's okay. If I feel like I need time and space, fine. As long as I'm together and I'm true, that's love. But the minute I fake it, that's false. That is called dambha. Darpaha. Darpaha means self-pride. Self-pride. When we have exaggerated pride of ourselves. We talked yesterday about atimanita. Na atimanita means self-forgetfulness, forgetting that it is me who's working, it is God working through me, and also acknowledging that I'm part of a team. This darpa means that self-pride is so high, it's like, I have so much pride of what I learned. I have so much pride of my social status, of my wealth, so much pride of that. What happens when we become too proud? We lose out again because we think we know everything, but actually there's so much to learn. We forget that every single thing, every single being is a teacher. And when we think we know everything, if I come in and say, yeah, I've done yoga teacher training, so I already know yoga, I would lose out on what Richard's teaching. It's so beautiful. I mean, we think we know everything. We know, we've gone through so many Vedanta classes. We've attended so many study classes. We've gone through so many things. We're not going to learn anything. We're limiting ourselves. We lose out because everywhere there's something to learn. Even from a child, there's something to learn. If we see the story of Avaduta Gita, he learns from the snake. He learns from every single thing. I always joke with everybody that I am going to write this book, My 24 Modern Teachers, because in New York City, traffic is my big teacher. Right? The New York subway is my big teacher, because there's so much to learn from them. The Uber driver is a teacher to me, right? He's so detached. I'm dropping you, picking you up, and that's it. Oh, if only we can be like this Uber Lyft driver, drop you, pick you up, and that's it, right? Such wonderful lessons we can learn from everybody when we come to their level and see. So when we have this excessive pride, even our rishis themselves, they say the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. You know, we think after learning in Sandeepany, 2 years, you learned Vedanta. When you come out, you're like, how much I don't know Vedanta, I'm realizing. How much I still have to learn, I'm realizing. Mahabharata, there's a wonderful story about Lord Krishna, Arjuna, and Yudhishthira. You know Karna. Karna was, Arjuna wanted to kill Karna, and he took a vow that he would kill Karna. But one day, Yudhishthira and Karna were at battle. They were fighting with each other, and Karna got too strong. So Yudhishthira backed off. He backed off and he went back to his place. He went back to the tent, etc. Now, and he got slightly hurt. Now Arjuna heard the news. Arjuna heard the news and he was concerned about Yudhishthira. So he went to Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira thought that Arjuna came because he had killed Karna. So when Yudhishthira saw Arjuna, he said, Arjuna, you are great. Now you have conquered Karna. Now we will surely win the war. And Arjuna was like, Yudhishthira, I actually did not defeat Karna, but I would like to invite you, and I will defeat Karna, but I haven't defeated him yet. Oh, Yudhishthira got mad at him. He said, what is this? How come you didn't go to defeat Karna? Why did you come here? And Yudhishthira insulted Arjuna's Gandiva. His Gandiva, his bow, arrow, Gandiva. He insulted it, And so Arjuna had secretly taken a vow that he would kill anybody who insulted his Gandiva. So when this happened, Arjuna takes out his sword and he's going to kill Yudhishthira. Lord Krishna says, wait, what are you doing? Arjuna said, I took a vow. I took a vow that whoever insults my Gandiva, I'm going to kill them. Lord Krishna said, wait. There's another way to fulfill this vow. And Arjuna said, what do you mean? Lord Krishna said, you don't have to kill someone. You don't have to physically hurt them to kill them. So what do I have to do? Lord Krishna said, when you speak violent words towards somebody, when you insult them, that is good as killing them. When you insult them, when you swear on them, when you speak violent words, it's as good as killing them. You do that to Yudhishthira. Oh, so Arjuna, he put his sword back and he said, Yudhishthira, who are you? Because of you, the whole war started. You have this game of dice. You brought us to this forest and now we have to live here for so long. And then now you got wounded and then now you're telling me all of this. On and on and on and on and on and on. Arjuna went. And after that, he looks at Lord Krishna. He takes out his sword again. Lord Krishna says, what are you doing? He said, I have to kill myself. So, why do you have to kill yourself? I have to kill myself because how could I have spoken those words to Yudhishthira? Yudhishthira is my elder brother. How could I have done that? Now I want to kill myself. I want to commit suicide. Lord Krishna said, hey Arjuna, there's another way to commit suicide. There's another way to commit suicide, and I'll tell you. Oh, so then what? What is the way to commit suicide? So then Lord Krishna tells him, Arjuna, praise yourself in front of Yudhishthira. When you praise yourself in front of someone who is greater, that's suicide. And so Arjuna had to praise himself, had to say he's the greatest warrior, had to say that nobody can defeat him. He had to say that, he's the best in battle, he's the most loved. And after that, it crushed his heart. And he just threw his sword, he went down, and he bowed at Yudhishthira's feet. He said, I'm truly sorry. And I will defeat Karna. What is Lord Krishna telling us? When we insult someone, it's as good as killing them. When we praise ourselves, it's as good as suicide. Praising ourselves in front of someone who is greater, it is like, it's not something done. It's this darpa. It's this self, pride, self-conceit. Because after all, it's being done through us. How can we even say that, I did it? Especially in front of people like Guruji, Gurudev, you don't even want to talk. I don't even want to talk in front of them because how do we talk? And we are so funny. One random act of kindness we do, we like to write a whole report. I did this random act of kindness and I'll post it in a blog and all of that. Puja Gurudev, 44 years of service. What is that? This person, he cannot post on a blog. You get it? Because it's countless. He doesn't have 5 acts of kindness. His every breath is a teaching. So he doesn't even count it. He can't even count it. And Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, as much as you don't know how many hairs are there in your body, you should forget all the good things that you did. Forget it. Because you didn't do it. It's coming through you. That's what he says. So sometimes we get so uplifted. In the beginning stages, it's okay. For a young kid and all, don't tell them this suicide story. For a young kid and all, they need to be encouraged. They need to be, they need to feel inspired. But as we are growing in our spiritual unfoldment, we need to know the truth. The truth is, it's not worth it to have it. Because we are just that conduit for things to happen. Darpaha. Abhimana. Abhimana is this exaggeration of oneself. You know how Gurudev says it's this over-exaggeration of oneself. This sense of how we're going to take it here is that we have this sense of control. And I talked to one of the chicks about this. We have a sense of control that, yes, I'm doing it. Yes, I'm on it. Yes, I got it. Yes, it's amazing. And this sense of empowerment is beautiful. It is a very beautiful thing. And in the beginning or initial stages of spirituality, we should have it. We should have it, especially when we're trying to work on ourselves. Have that sense of, I can do it. I want to start exercising soon. I can do it. I want to start getting up early. I can do it. I want to give up chips. I can do it. I want to do certain things. I can do it, and I should do it. And this empowering feeling is great to have in the beginning. But after some time, we realize that instead of feeling that we are nailing it, we are doing it, it's something that's working through us. It's something that's happening through us. It's because we're making ourselves pure, we're making ourselves available, we're making ourselves empty. And it's happening through us. And it's not so much that we're in control now. I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of how everything is. But it's, I surrender. I surrender. I'm not taking over my life. You take over it. You take over it. And let me just ride along. And that's why Lord Krishna is the charioteer. So in the beginning stages, I said empowerment is needed. That feeling of, yes, it's happening. Yes, I'm doing it. Yes. But after you get to a certain point, you're my charioteer. You're making it happen. I'm just riding along. Because the goal of Vedanta, remember, is to lose ourselves in God. Lose ourselves so that we find ourselves in God. Abhimana. Krodha. Krodha. Sometimes we have anger towards ourselves. Sometimes we get angry towards ourselves when we're not able to achieve certain things, when we don't get what we want, when other people are getting but we're not getting. Other people are succeeding but we're not succeeding. Other people are being chosen but we're not being chosen. So we have this sense of self-anger, like, why not me? Why isn't it happening for me? How do we deal with this kind of anger? How to deal with this kind of anger is acceptance, which we saw in the very beginning. Accept that right now, maybe this is the way it should be. In chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita, there's a very famous verse, and it says, Sthane Rishikesha. Means everything is in its right place. Everything. If you look at your life now, what is happening is exactly as it should be happening. Why am I not getting what other people are getting? Because it's my past actions only. Whatever I'm getting is a result of my past karma, my past actions. So if I'm not getting it, it's okay. Time will come when I get it. Why am I not chosen for it? It's okay. I'm not chosen for it. Maybe another time will come, or maybe I'm not meant to be in that. Why isn't it happening for me? It's okay. Except everything is as it should be. And if it's something that I want to work towards, then work towards it. Make it happen. Put forth effort. But the first way to handle this anger is just accept it. When I was in the Vedanta course, Sanskrit was like a big thing for me. I learned a little bit before going. But then when we get there, we get this mantra pushpam, and it's all in Devanagari. And they say, there is no English translation available right now, so you have to just read it. I'm like, okay, I'll just read it. It is this thick book. And then on top of that, our teacher there, that Upacharya, he was so fast. He's one of those ones who, Om Sastra Shirsha, Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he's already in the last line, and I'm in the first letter. I'm like, please help me, God. And I was thinking to myself, why don't I know Sanskrit? Why wasn't I born in a place where I learned Sanskrit? Why didn't I learn how to chant when I was young? And I said, okay, wait, step back. Accept. This is where I am, this is where I'm at, and everything is because of my past actions, and it's okay. But then I had to put forth so much effort, to learn every day. And so I did. And after a while I was able to read where he read. And then I understood, I understood what that is that it's okay. I have a shortcoming. It's okay. I can't chant the way I want to chant. But that doesn't mean that I can't overcome it. And that doesn't mean that I can't accept where I am. It's fine. And the thing is, we don't have all the qualities. Like some people think like we should have all the qualities. Like we should be like very, very good at sports and then very good at math and then very good at science, and like all Indian Desi parents. They think their children should be all well-rounded. My child should be this, good at this, good at this, good at this, good at this. This is how my child should be. Get A's here, A's there, everything. But we're not like that. And it's okay. Some of us are better at some other things. And it's fine. So it's fine if we're not good in certain things. We can learn to be good. But we know that we also have our own edge. So there's no self-anger there. There's no self-insecurity there. It's completely okay. So akrodha. What happens when we get angry at ourselves? What happens? You know that famous verse, Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kama krodho pijayate. Why we get angry is because we didn't get something that we wanted. Right? We didn't get something that we wanted. Or we are not something that we wish we were. What happens when anger dwells on us? What happens when we get angry? We get deluded. We get deluded and we forget. What does that mean? It means it's like this. I'll explain to you when it happens to another person, then you will understand when it happens to yourself. This Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gum story, you all know, so then I can tell you. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. First, we dwell on something. We dwell on an object. We dwell on a promotion. We dwell on somebody. We dwell on a talent. We dwell on a trait. Sangasteshu pajayate. Then we project happiness there. We project that that's going to give me happiness. If I get that, I will be happy. If I get that, boom. Everything will be okay. My life will be golden. Then, sangat sanjayate kamaha. Then I desire it. Kama krodho bijayate. Then, if I don't get it, I become angry. Then after that, krodhat bhavati sammohaha. I become deluded in the sense that, let's say this Shah Rukh Khan fell in love with Kajol. And it didn't work out. Then he becomes deluded. He's like, nobody, my parents don't love me. God doesn't love me. The whole world's against me. Like he becomes deluded. He gets into this crazy frame of mind. Then sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Then we forget the good things that people have done for us. He forgets that his parents have raised him. He forgets that his mother was always there. He forgets that so many people have been there through all of their lives for him. What happens when we get angry at other people is we forget all the 20 years that they've done for us and we focus on one thing. We focus on one point. That's what we do. And when we forget, buddhi nashaha, that intellect is destroyed and then we become destroyed. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. So like that, when we get angry to ourselves or with ourselves, we forget our past achievements. We forget all of the other things that we've done also. It's not that we, we have to magnify this one mistake or magnify this one thing wrong and minimize everything else. See everything as a whole picture. See yourself as a whole picture. In the Endgame movie, Black Widow, she says, I forgot his name, but they were going to get the Soul Stone. And she tells him, she says, what's the guy's name with the arrow? Hawkeye, right? she tells Hawkeye, they're debating as to like who's gonna die, because somebody has to die for the soul stone. And she tells Hawkeye, I don't judge people for their worst mistakes or by their worst mistakes. She tells Hawkeye this, right? So sometimes we judge people by their worst mistakes, and we judge ourselves by our worst mistakes. That's what happens when we get angry at ourselves. We judge ourselves by our worst mistakes. We are angry at ourselves because we have some certain limitations. We are angry because we're not moving as fast as other people. We're angry because we don't get things that other people have gotten. But when we learn to accept and sincerely work towards this, then we can combat this anger that we have to ourselves. And when we learn to see ourselves as a big picture, from a big standpoint, and not just focus on that blemish or those mistakes that we committed, then we can overcome this anger towards ourselves. Krodha. Parushyam. Parushyam means harshness, self-harshness. Harshness means when we're being too rough with ourselves. Everyone always asks this question, like, okay, we have to be disciplined, we have to lead ourselves, but how do we avoid from being self-deprecating, from putting ourselves down, from being extremely harsh, right? How do we avoid that? How do we balance out being just, being fair, being disciplined versus being harsh? And so, as I put before, be realistic, right? Give yourself a realistic approach. Give yourself I'm going to give myself this time to work through this. I'm going to give myself this time to work through this, and I'm going to make sure that I can do whatever I can in my power to make it work. And you keep that discipline, and you keep it going, and you stay inspired. And when I am realistic and I stay inspired, then that harshness doesn't come, because I am staying inspired and I am being realistic. Harshness often comes sometimes when we stretch ourselves too much. When we say, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. We expect too much about ourselves and we stretch ourselves too thin. I said, aim for a high ideal. Gurudev said, Lord Krishna said, aim for a high ideal. But that doesn't mean that we have to get there right away. This is sometimes what we forget. Sometimes we stretch ourselves so thin, so far, that we feel like we have to get there now. And if we're not getting there now, then that means something's wrong with me. That means I'm not good enough. That means all of these things, it's just something's wrong with me. No. Stretcher means make the goal very high, but we don't have to get there right away. So how to prevent being harsh towards ourselves is be realistic. Come up with tangible steps as to how to reach that goal and how to make that goal. Then I can avoid this self-deprecating, talking down, being too rough with myself, is when I become realistic, when I become tangible. And honest. Honest. Just be honest with yourself. This is where I'm at. This is what it is. And it's okay. Ajnanam. Ajnanam means ignorance. But ignorance in what way? Self-ignorance in what way? In the sense of complacency. See, sometimes we let ourselves stay complacent. We let ourselves be okay, be comfortable with bondage. We don't do enough examination. We are very good with examining so many other things. What restaurant will I go eat at? Which one has those special kind of French fries? You'll research which restaurant has that kind of French fries and you'll go. If you want to go for a vacation to Bharat or somewhere, 2 months ahead you'll plan. What t-shirt and pant will I wear? What salwar I'll wear? Where am I going to go? Who am I going to stay with? 2 months you'll plan. If you want to go out for a weekend, okay, how is our day going to be? Where am I going to eat? Which restaurant? What kind of cuisine? And around there, what's 5 miles? What would we do? We're so good. We plan everything. But do we even take that time to plan about our lives? To think about our lives? We are doing Kaka Danta Pariksha. That the Pariksha, that exam, it's like examining the teeth of a crow. We're doing this examination of things which matter, but they matter this much compared to our lives, which matter this much. We're examining what food to eat, where to go for vacation, what we should wear, how our weekend should be, how should we spend it. We're spending so much time examining that. How much time do we spend examining life? How much time do we spend? If we really did spend time examining life, then we would understand it by now. What is supposed to happen when we examine life? Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedam ayat nasti akrita kritena. This means when we examine life, we truly realize that it's time to go beyond it. It's time to go above it. It's time to break free from it. Because what do we see when we examine life? We see that things are constantly changing. We see it. Everything is constantly changing. We see that things are impermanent. We see that we can't depend on anything, really. There's nobody really we can depend on because people come and go. We see that when we try to find essence in something, it's really like it's essence-less. It's really like there's no essence to it. We see that it's not giving us what we want. It's not. Complacency is letting ourselves be fooled again and again and again. We're letting ourselves be fooled. When all it is, it's Maya in a different packaging. Sometimes Maya comes in this package, sometimes Maya comes in that package. When you open it, it's the same Maya only. And complacency means how many times are we going to let ourselves be fooled by this? Huh? Again and again and again and again. That ability to say, I'm not going to be fooled by it anymore. It's enough. I don't want it anymore. That nirveda, that vairagya, that dispassion will come and say, I'm done. I can't be fooled. When I can't be fooled by this game that is called self-love, when I let myself be fooled again and again and again, that is letting myself swim in ignorance. There was a lion in this jungle. There were a bunch of lions. And what happened was, people caught these lions and they put a fence around the lions. These such strong lions, they caught them. They put a fence around them. And so these lions were thinking, what do we do now? We are caught in this fence. What do we do? So one lion said, let's start a history club. Come. Let's write lion history. Let's write how we were free and then we came into this fence, and let's write who was the first lion and the first lioness, and let's write this whole history. So the other lion said, you know what, you're wasting your time. Let's write grammar. Let's write about the lion language. Let's preserve it. So some lions got together and they said, Let's write this lion language. Then another lion came and he said, you're wasting your time. We should do social work now. Social work. Well, how much time are you going to write history, write language? Let's do social work. So lion social work started. Then another lion came and said, you're all getting fat. We should start lion's gym. This is what should happen. So like this, all the lions started everything. Then what happened? One lion came. New lion was caught and was brought in. And so first this historical lion said, why don't you join us? Join our club, history club. He said, no, I'm okay. Then this grammar said, come, you need to learn how to speak this lion slang. We got new language now. Like, come learn. He said, no. Then the social work said, we have so much we want to do. We want to change the world. And he said, that's a really great thing, but right now, I don't want to do that. And the lion's gym said, take care of your health. He said, no, I don't want to do that. They said, what are you going to do? He said, I am going to look at the fence. I'm going to look at the fence because I came here to just go out. I don't want anything else, but I want to go out. And all I'm going to do is figure out how to get out. And that's what my life will be. You understand? You and I take what you need, but your goal is to get out. Don't lose sight of getting out of the fence. Whatever you need, you need the gym, you need social work, you need study, that's fine. You take what you need, but take as much as you need to get out and not more. You understand? When we take more than what we need and stay in this whole fence, that is complacency. When we take as much as we need so that we can go out, that is self-love. Because I'm not going to be fooled anymore. I'm going to break free. That much is my goal. And I never, ever, ever lose sight of it. That is called self-love. So he says, Lord Krishna says, people who have these traits of pretending to be something that they're not, because they want to fit in, because they want to be liked, because they want to be loved, they'll never get help. People who are darpaha, who have this excessive pride, they also will never get help because they think they know everything. They lose out on learning from the most sublime teachers. Abhimana, those who are all about taking control of their lives, necessary. But at a certain point in time, surrender, because there's a higher principle working through you. Krodha, those people who are angry at themselves because they feel limited, they feel like they're not getting what's due to them, what they should get. Let them learn to accept and sincerely work. Paurusham, those who are extra harsh with themselves because they're not being realistic or practical enough about what they can do. Those who are not thinking about the steps, the practical steps, the ways that they can get to their goal. Those who are overstretching themselves, that's also not good. Those who are staying in this bondage, being fooled by it again and again and again, even to the point where they say, I'm okay being in the fence. Wow. I'm okay being in the fence. I'm okay staying in this lion's fence. I'm okay staying in these clubs. I'm okay not wanting to make my way out. That is called complacency. That we can't be okay with, no matter what. So now, Lord Krishna concludes these 4 verses with the 5th one. Devi sampad vimokshaya Nibandhaya surimata Mashucha sampadam Devim Abhijatosi Pandava Devi sampad vimokshaya Nibandhaya surimata Mashucha sampadam Devim Abhijatosi Pandava. Lord Krishna says, Devi sampad vimokshaya, that divine wealth of self-love will free you. Nibandhaya surimata, that self-dislike, self-anger, self-harshness, all of that will further bind us. Asuri. Maashuchaha sampadam Devi. He tells Arjuna, Arjuna, don't worry. You are born of divine qualities. Abhijatosi Pandava. You are divine. So you never ever have to worry and never ever have to question. What we've seen in this lecture series is a 5-step process to self-love, which I've given you in your sheets. I will read it, go through it a little bit to summarize so that we know the crux of self-love. We started this journey where we talked about why the need to love ourselves is because this is the starting point. This is the starting point for something greater, to have those meaningful relationships, to have meaningful love for high values and ideals, and to have love for all. And we saw now how love is defined. And we saw that love is defined as something, an emotion that's born out of selflessness and sacrifice. It's about accepting who you are, and it's about evolving. And through these verses of the Bhagavad Gita, the first verse we saw acceptance and sincerity. Fearlessly, how to love yourself, fearlessly accept who you are. Whatever you are right now, fearlessly accept it. And be sincere about wanting to change. In that verse, we covered things like introspection, things like looking at what I am, things like figuring out the gap between what I know and what I live, things like being able to take self-care and put myself in environments which are good towards me and which don't harm me. We saw all of this in the first verse. The second verse we saw, now that we've accepted who we are and we're sincere about wanting to change, the second verse we saw, go beyond your limits. Break your old habits. But while doing that, be patient with your growth. We talked about how ahimsa towards ourselves is violating our potential. Thinking that we can't do things. Thinking that we're not good enough. And going beyond that, but at the same time knowing it takes time. It takes time to unfold, it takes time to grow, it takes time to change. And in the third verse, we saw that even if obstacles come in the way, stay determined. Dhriti. And if we do something wrong, kshama, forgive ourselves. And bounce back. Finish strong. Go all the way to the end. And in the fourth verse, we saw, take charge of your life. Root out the vices. We saw the vices in the fourth verse and figure out what they are and keep changing ourselves for the better, whatever vice it could be. And the fifth verse, live up to your divinity because you are already that. Vedanta, one part, is knowing that you are that. But the deeper part is manifesting that you are that. Knowing that you are that is something else. It's important. But to manifest it in each and every day of my life, that is key. That being able to manifest divinity is called self-love. So love who you are. Love who you are. Be okay with it. And love who you will be. And don't let anybody else tell you anything. Because all the answers that you're looking for are already in you. We just haven't listened deeply enough. With this, we conclude our discourse series on self-love. My pranams to everybody here, to all of our CHYKs, our camp organizers, our San Jose family. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to reflect on God and on love. We'll spend a moment in silence and then we'll say the closing prayer. Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.